Okay, so the topic for the day, I'm going to talk about meditation, also death meditation, but first of all, I did a guided death meditation, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to try to find different guided meditations about death and see if they can give some insight here. But I did a guided meditation today. The topic was about, it said it was about accepting death or something. But it didn't touch on death a lot. Probably most of it was just general mindfulness, being aware of your body type meditation. And I learned something about myself. I don't really like guided meditations. Maybe there's something about just someone telling me what to do, right? Maybe there's that, but also, yeah, I don't know. I feel like doing what, I don't know, meditation for me is not about doing what you're told, right? It's more of an internal struggle, right? And it's watching yourself and finding insights from within. And I guess a pre-recorded guided meditation feels kind of contrary to that in a lot of ways. But so when it did get to the death part though, it did have some interesting ideas. One was to imagine that imagine that birth is an inhale and death is an exhale. And then to imagine with each exhale that is death. And to watch the space around the exhale, right? And to really buy into that kind of idea. I don't know, again, this is really interesting. It's hard for me to connect with this idea. I wonder how much of it is just a total cognitive block of even going there, right? Which maybe makes sense, right? It's maybe why, because people who are forced to face their own mortality, it's not a pleasant experience. And it doesn't happen to everyone, and it's usually extreme circumstances that allow you, I think, to get there, right? Near-death experiences, being in the hospital with a heart attack, right? Maybe it's just the case that it requires something like that to actually break through that sort of barrier. Or it could also just be some a long-term practice could also do that. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. Yesterday I watched a bit of a video about death, and it was this Buddhist teacher talking about death and the Dharma. And from a Buddhist perspective, accepting death is about letting go of attachment and embracing impermanence, right? Which I really like those ideas, and that seems to go in line with some of the goals I talked about yesterday about death meditation. And I think I'm going to look into that more. But this video, this teacher talked about he talked about imagine all the different ways that you could die, which is kind of an interesting exercise. So he's just think about natural disasters, right? Earthquakes, tsunamis, right? People actually die from this type of stuff. Think about all the things in your environment, car accidents, right? Just other people, or think of you can trip and fall, and every piece of furniture can probably kill you in some way. And think about all the different ways your body can malfunction, right? Each one of your organs could shut down and you'll die, right? Or have some sort of problem. Not to mention cancer, illnesses, you could contract a disease or a virus that can kill you. There's so many different ways for that to happen, which is an interesting exercise, and I think could definitely help shine a light on one's mortality. I think I'm going to pursue that a little more, but I'm going to try to approach this from now on as trying to come up with my own death meditation exercise, and maybe it's a series of exercises And maybe one of them is to meditate on this idea of how many different things can kill you, right? And maybe another one could be meditate on all the different things that if you died right now, you wouldn't be able to do, right? Maybe it's about that loss. I don't know. I'll have to be careful with that one, because because there's two parts of this, right? Death you can embrace and accept death, and that's letting go of attachment, right? You can also acknowledge death and use that to frantically finish everything on your to-do list, right? Which, I don't know, I like the idea of death being motivating, but at the same time, obviously throughout my life, the biggest strides in personal development have come through acceptance. So just a lot of things to think about. And that's all the topics I have for today. I'm realizing now that to keep up to have stuff to say every day, that's an exercise in and of itself. And especially, I've been just working a lot lately, and so there hasn't been a lot of new, fresh ideas coming into my mind. And to be honest, often just Redditing and Facebook or watching YouTube sparks some of these ideas. But since I have been goofing off like that, don't have a lot of ideas at the moment. So that's the other thing I'm going to try to explore, is how to keep a fresh stream of new ideas as stuff to talk about for the day. But that's all for today. Thanks. See you.